Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. Welcome to This and That. I'm Dave Leese.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. Hi.
Jonathan, it's been like a week and a half, but I miss you. I felt like we haven't talked skating. We want to keep
Your
doing shows, so
your business, like
everyone
now.
has been really sweet about ever since you said that. It's so funny, but I was saying that I had finished it like a month ago, and then it was like I had the graduation, but in my mind, like I've been doing my
You don't need
cleanse
to
and working
talk,
out and
but sometimes we need to talk about you,
uh,
Dave.
well, no, everyone's been very sweet and reach out, and I want to thank everyone for that. But yeah, it was so funny because you said that, and then I had my graduation, and then people have been coming up to me all the time, and it's like, oh, yes,
It's like those like medieval festivals that last for like weeks and weeks. It's just like it's a 2 month graduation party, Dave.
yeah. It was just funny because when I finished, I was just like, oh my god, I don't have to drive to Jersey City during rush hour anymore during the week. I'm so happy. Like that was my first thought. So
Great. I'm happy to understand. I don't know any of those words, so great.
Jersey City is awful if anyone has to ever drive there. There's this highway called the 1 and 9 that
Okay.
goes into Jersey City, and it's just always backed up. And the way I have to drive to Jersey City is on another highway, and it's also always backed up. So you're effed.
Great.
Both
Okay.
ways. It's Jersey City is great if you can like take the path in, and not have to drive. It's much preferable.
Okay.
It's
Got it.
like Hoboken, all those old like kind of mafia, like during the Sinatra era, like where the Teamsters hung out in the Jers.
Okay.
They're all like this. They're all old, right? And they were underwater when the hurricane hit, so they're all like they're all old. It's hard to get in and out of them, and there's no effing parking. Especially
Right.
in Hoboken. And Hoboken's really trendy now, so your friends will be like, "Oh, I'm moving to Hoboken," and if you don't live in Hoboken, it's like, "Oh, great! Like,
Yeah. Okay.
where am I
Got
to
it.
find parking to visit you?" So, great.
Great.
At least in New York City, there's an effing garage that overcharges you like $80 an hour.
The option is made available to you.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, I just rant aside, but there's been a lot going on in skating this week. Let's start. Well, let's be ethnocentric like our president, and we'll start with Jason Brown, Jonathan.
Yes. Yes.
So, officially, he is going to Brian Orser. Now, this is interesting because obviously we know Doug Haw. There's been rumors, that Jason's been interested in Brian, and there's been like a flirtation with the cricket club. First, he went with Frank before he went to Worlds. Frank told him not to go to Worlds
Right.
because he had
Which
a meeting with Frank.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't quite like running his programs, and then he was looking okay, but he, just wasn't. He was going through it. He didn't make the Olympic team, okay?
Yep. Yeah, and
You
he
were.
needs time to grieve and not be stuck in the season that won't end. Yeah.
And also, how was he to know that Adam Rippon would become Adam Rippon, America's sweetheart, and obviously, and have, not go to Worlds and all of that. So,
Right.
granted, you have to feel for him there. I did watch the Jason video.
Right. Right. Wait, the I feel sad after the not making the Olympics video.
No, that one I watched. No, the new chapter in my life where he's road tripping with his parents and.
Oh, yes, I did scroll past that. I do remember that now.
I hope that Tracy Wilson brings a lot of adulthood to his life, and
What do you think about this choice?
Well, I think it's great. I think Tracy brings a lot to the table. I think it's interesting because I don't mean this in a mean way, but we have to look at the skating world in two different planes. So we know Jason and we love Jason, right? As American skater, as a beautiful skater, as an artist. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's very clear if you read the Ice Network article that Phil Hirsch did after we broke it, Jonathan, that he was going there. That Brian made it very clear that his priorities are Hanyu, Medvedeva, and Boyang Jin.
Yeah.
He By the way, the Japanese said Medvedeva. I struggle with that syllable. I work at Dina. You have to come back. Like, I need more work. Like, she's staying around. I want to get this. It's like,
we need 102. Yeah,
this is like the balance beam. You know, like, we're going to conquer this event. We're going to conquer that triple axel. Her last name is that triple axel for me. I know how Terry Gannon says it is not correct. So
right. No.
So, and Tukta Mushiva, that also never seemed correct. Anyway.
Correct.
I digress. Jason
or Misha Gay. That was. I think that was Eurosport. Said Misha Gay.
Speaking of Misha Gay, what kind of oil is Jenny Kirk cooking with on her YouTube, and what's it really called? Okay, the GHEE. Are you watching her cooking?
You know, I did watch a couple of those initial onslaught of Instagram stories, and they are indeed amusing.
So
they are indeed amusing.
I get asked about them a lot.
Okay.
I sent her a smoothie recipe. She didn't quite make it yet, but she doesn't follow any recipes. But I told her, I said, you know, this new apron designing thing, I believe that her calling is to design aprons and sell them on Goop. Like, for overpriced items for white women, I'm like, you have such a calling, you don't even know. Like, maybe this is like the $1 million idea. Like,
these are your people. Yeah.
These are your people. Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, I see it. I have a vision. Okay? We can manifest this. Okay. Oh, she seems happy and she's bedazzling like crazy. So
good for her.
I've done adult coloring. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's interesting.
It does sound like the coloring is pornographic. I'm just throwing it out there.
Wait, adult coloring does sound pornographic, but it's not.
No, it's not.
You know, I have a Golden Girls coloring book.
Didn't Ty Babylonia give you one?
She did, and I have used that a bit. Sorry, my coloring. So I think I told them about these things. I'll just show everyone. I use these markers when I adult color. They're like $3 or $4 a piece, and I have to get them in every shade because you know I'm a little
weird. You seem so go with the flow about stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm very Tom Dixon-ish. You know, I'm an artist. So, and I don't like how I color with colored pencils. And then I bought a big box, but I felt like I was 9 using it, so I don't. I have a specific style with the coloring. If you're friends with me on Instagram, you know, I like it in a certain way.
Isn't there a YouTube sensation about a young gay kid talking about Yankee candles?
I mean, Jonathan, why do Yankee candles when you could do like Prismacolor? Okay.
Yeah.
And I lit a Yankee candle once, and I got so shaded by our viewers. So I just want to let them know.
I can't say I blame. I'm a Henry Bendel guy myself.
This is how I prepared myself mentally for the Olympic season because I was really burnt out. It was a really tough year.
Right.
Not just skating alone. It was just a lot going on. Okay, so digression. Back to Jason Brown. So they made it seem like he was like a second tier in the cricket club. Like, he's a medalist on the Grand Prix, not a medalist at World's Contender. And he was like, because these are my priorities.
Type. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's going to work with the team.
Right.
But I do know that Brian originally had to be talked into it, and that Tracy Wilson was the one that said, no, we really need Jason here at the cricket club. And I think that's interesting because it kind of looks like the way he's setting up his group is so that they challenge each other, so that he has Hanyu and Jin there to push each other, but not put them on the ice too much. Because he really doesn't know. Like, Javi may do another Europeans, is what I've been told, but he doesn't know.
Everyone talks about that. He made that, like, kind of joke at the Europeans this year in Moscow about, like, maybe I'll do some more.
No, that was serious. Like, he was joking.
Serious?
I think Javi's at the stage where he doesn't know exactly what he wants to do. He still likes skating. He would like to do another Europeans. I don't think he wants to do another Worlds, but... So I think when you're, like...
It's confusing enough to me because I think in order to do a Europeans, like, yes, of course, he's like always going to be the favorite, or at least in the immediate future. But he'll get some nipping at his heels if he's not training properly.
I know, it's strange for me, but I think that he could win at least one more.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him skate again.
Important to him? It seems like an unusual...
So I believe, I was talking to Doug Hall about this, and he was saying that I think Brian's going to, talk to him at the end of July or August when he's, would have to get to training. Because we've seen this before. We see Jeff Buttle, who got programs and then said, he's doing so many shows. He's been kind of going nonstop since the Olympics and adjusting. So I think he's in a transition phase. We can get into him there. But I thought it was interesting because, they don't know. Daleman is still there. They did ask Tursunbayeva to... Tursunbayeva wasn't even there that much, but I know that they will no longer be working with her. They asked her to seek...
They had plateaued mutually.
I think she's going to try pairs, potentially.
Now, actually, that's not half a bad idea, but with someone from Kazakhstan?
Maybe Dennis Ten and Tursunbayeva, and maybe her mother, who was such a treat in the Kiss and Cry.
Can be all the pairs. Okay.
Everyone had the same reaction. They were like, well, that competition, her mother seemed a little bit...
extra.
extra in the Kiss and Cry. That might have done it.
Now, how do you know that it was... Did they talk about that Tracy was kind of the one that convinced Brian, or we just know that?
We do know it, and Brian said it as well in his interview. So this is nothing like, I had heard that, and then this is nothing...
Well, it makes a lot of sense to me, because I have to say, when I first heard about it, we have contemplated often what potential moves could look like for him. Mm-hmm. And the Brian Orser one surprised me quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Only in that I didn't see why Brian would be so interested.
Well, I think he's a great skater.
He's a great skater, but Brian's on a different plan. He's not looking for skaters. He's looking for So
I believe that... All right. I wasn't going to say this. Here we go.
I know. I knew I could get something out of you. Okay.
So I heard that Jason's former coach allegedly at the PSA, allegedly in Orlando recently. And maybe someone who was on our show might have told the PSA that they felt that her information was wrong that she was presenting. And that they
disagreed.
Or that they disagreed with her talk of physics and what made jumps work and in jump development. And they feel that maybe it's worth looking at Jason's jumps because they can be retooled.
And this was a big question that people were facing.
I know Frank thought that as well. It's he said that Jason has Gus Lucy technique but that it could be tweaked.
It's not necessarily a physical limitation.
Yeah. So I think with him, we've heard that he had injuries. So I'm curious how he is physically. We heard that he had another ankle sprain or something that happened on tour. Well, when you're bouncing around doing that Roheen choreography to the room where it happens, you're going to get hurt. I mean, you're bouncing on your toe pick.
Those steep edges come at a cost, yeah.
Roheen is like in Bob Fosse choreography, like constantly.
Riddle me this, because when we were like, okay, Yevgenia, she's going to Orser, but I hope that means she's taking on the whole team. Will Jason take on the whole team?
Yes, so he is going to do, David Wilson is going to do his free skate.
And the short will be?
Roheen's. Roheen already did the short. Now, Jason had asked Lori Nickel, but he was kind of non-committal. So he asked Lori Nickel, well, could I come and just work with you on movement? And she was like, No, because I think choreographers don't want to work with you on style and then have you do it, work with another choreographer on your long program.
Which I kind of get.
And then maybe incorporate some of their moves, either commit or don't. So... Yeah. But I also get as an artist, you want to explore, but skating's a business and it just doesn't work.
I was gonna say I feel like the Sandra Besicks would be yes, just the chance to create is wonderful, and I could see Lori being what? So you can use all my free advice and apply it to someone else's program? That's ridiculous. I see both sides of that.
Speaking of Sandra, I asked her what she thought about our idea at the mall, and she said she just can't go up there. I'm just telling you. So
deeply rooted in that resentment. Okay.
I don't think it was resentment. I think it was just no.
For her. Okay.
But she thought Midori's double axel was fabulous. So and she loved her. She really loved her. So
amazing.
So
because
Jason
now
Brown
Tracy
with
Wilson
David
being
Wilson.
intrigued by Jason 100%, I get that. But Brian is so, in the same way Lori's worried about her business, Brian's worried about his business, and you see the types of skaters he picks.
Yeah.
And he doesn't pick the one who's the artist first and foremost. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but I think it's good to have some diversity. So Bela Karolyi used to design groups, and he wrote about this in his book, which was filled with errors. But when you read interviews with him over time, he said you want to have a couple different horses that have different personality types. And Kelly Hill has talked about this as well. When they train together and they push each other, each one has a role. So if we're thinking in gymnastics terms, Jason's kind of the positive energy, the workhorse. He'll get something from Hanyu, but he'll help the other skaters with the mood and the atmosphere and perhaps bringing the artistic flair. So maybe he can help Bo Yang Jin come out of his shell a little bit and help Medvedeva, and they can all help Daleman, and they can kind of like grow. So I think that Tracy really pushing for him is smart. She sees that there's a benefit to having him there.
Yeah, a varied community within the ice rink. Yeah.
So I think Jason, he says he has a 4-year plan. Unless he gets a solid quad this season, I think he's got 18 months.
Right.
Putting it out there.
Right.
Like 18 months, because look, there's Camden Pulkkinen.
14, let alone 18. Yeah.
There's Camden Pulkkinen, who's coming up, who's rising. He's working on a cool free skate for this year with Tom Dixon. There is Vincent.
Whatever ends up happening there.
I know, we have to talk about that coaching arrangement with all of those people in one center.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
No one to manage them, and they all seem capable of overtraining.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, Tom, like, who's running this?
Right.
I keep going back to, like, what is Marina doing? Like, can she organize or something? Or save these people from themselves. Tammy can overtrain. Tom can overtrain. They both could injure anyone. Who's running the show there?
Right.
So you've got Camden. You've got the one from Florida. I'm blanking on names. Who moved to Colorado. He's working with Christy as well. He's the talented junior turning senior man who's like always looks great.
That was Junior Grand Prix?
Yes, he's been on the Junior Grand Prix.
Final.
Russian last name who is not Alexei Krasnozhan, and I am completely having a mind
Not
blank.
Torgashev,
yes.
Okay.
I was like the one who looks great, and then it's a hot mess. So it's and so like there's people coming up, and Nathan.
Even outside of the nationality, though, do you know what I mean? Like it's internationally, like it's been clear what needs to happen. So I feel like it sounds like it's a whole like test season to be like, can we make it happen? The jump. And if we can, I could see them being like, we're not going to continue.
Yeah.
Lost cause.
And then what's going on, with Nathan in school? Like, so it's going to be hard for Jason to make the team. I think they're banking on the +5, -5 GOE. And while I agree that is an interesting turn of events, if these other boys get quads that are good and they can do them with positive GOE, that's still going to be hard. If he can't do a good triple axel, it's not going to matter. Well,
right.
Yeah.
Your quad with a +2 is still worth more than your triple loop with a +4. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So.
But I have to say that I'm more interested so far in next season than I was in the Olympic year. I am more interested intellectually to see what a David Wilson program will look like for Jason Brown. What he will do with midfield.
Those 2 charts in those exams, and you're just like drawing the lines, and it's like it's been like a really fun switch up. But the pressure's on somebody like David Wilson. You have been gifted a Yevgenia. You have been gifted a Jason. Mm-hmm. You will be the first to take a crack at them. That's not the usual fare of Roheen and Danny G. Like, Where are you going? What are you doing? Like, I would think actually this could be a potentially pretty stressful time for David.
But I do think David is good. I think David should bring in Sandra to consult. I think that they've done great work.
Yeah. For that energy also.
Couldn't you see Sandra being like, oh yes, Jason, feel the music. Like...
Jason, why? Why, Jason?
Why? I think they need to cut his hair, color it.
Push him.
What?
Push.
Yeah. I think it's time for the haircut.
Yeah.
I really do.
If not now, when?
Like, you just got to change everything. You know, just go boyish and go...
Right. Brand new look.
Brand new look. No more of those Raheem pajama pantsy kind of...
Frumpy.
Aladdin pants.
Yeah. Be current. He can totally be current. The moves are current. These like great leg holds are current. Like, why deny yourself the whole thing?
And do new leg holds. I bet, you know how Medvedeva always tries to do the Sasha skid?
Right.
I bet Jason could do that. You know, like...
Yeah, exactly.
I bet he could do different spin positions we haven't seen, and...
Right.
I would love to see him, like, hold a back spiral, Jonathan, and just do it, because Sandra and David were like...
This is the interesting thing. You're like, we've got to convince Jason to do this.
Yeah.
Where what I love Yevgenia is because she knew she could do more.
Yes.
And she thought it out. And you sent me that great interview she did.
Yeah, let's go into it. What'd you think?
I loved it. I just, and she's doing it, come on, ESL. Like, this is so impressive. And she would just say great things. And she was like, yeah, it can't be all about jumping. It can't be all about art. Like, it has to be about these things. Just like the perspective and the kind of frankness to her conversation. I was just like, you seem so put together. You seem so smart. Your outlook seems so good and mindful. And
she is the Katarina Witt of the current era. Like, she is the brain for this.
But something about Katarina was a bit scrappy. And
Medvedeva's scrappy. She could put a triple toe on anything.
Collectedness instead of fierceness that I maybe in the competitive Katarina days. But I love that she was like, the question about Russia came up, and she was like, "What on earth are you talking about?"
Well, that's such a stupid question. You know,
she's
like
for Russia. Well, where did those rumors come about?
Because she was switching, and you know, it's a very ethnocentric country, and they're.
But that was all like
Russia. I mean, we train with Russians all the time. They don't usually leave a Russian coach, so this is very new for Russian. But she's Evgenia Medvedeva, capital E, capital M. I mean, she can.
That falter her there? No, I would just think in these weird skating.
I just think that in the weird skating thing, and maybe in the the sports pages, that it's so bold and they're so confused because we're the best, and why would you not want to work with us? And Terry's the best, but I think it's actually. I'll be really interested to see what changes she makes and how the North American public, who hasn't always been receptive to the Terry's style of skating and Medvedeva's miming and perhaps the over-cluttered programs. If David Wilson gives her a program that still has transitions, but has more extension and more lines and just does something
to the next level. Because, we'll talk about also the show that we were watching those clips. She does like a new exhibition where she has like the feather pen.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
But I did see hope in it, but we'll get into it. Like,
she's an actress.
Yeah.
She
doesn't have to be a mimer. She can be an actress who feels and who emotes, and there's a lot of untapped potential.
The actress element, because she probably, knowing what an acting bug, it's kind of clear that she's been bitten by, that maybe some of those pantomime programs do provide her with that stimulating kind of thought about being a character. But David can give her that.
So I feel she's been trained like a girl gymnast. And I use the word girl intentionally because she's been trained to do her triples like a machine, like a robot, like a machine, to do the job, get all of the points, bendy, this, here, add this turn, that turn. I think she's going to be trained as an adult woman, and learn how to hold an edge and how to do a big jump and how to do something more important skating, Jonathan, as you like to say.
Yes, I think so. And it helps to enter a new place to be able to do that. You can sit in your same rink with the same coaches that may have been great for you, but you're not going to... It's going to be harder to make that next step.
I think she can get great points even without a quad. I think that she could just do a better triple flip, triple toe.
But she already has. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Michelle and
I hope they get her in Jackson boots and out of those ugly Ideas, because I think her line would improve so much. And Raj is right in town, and he loves to take a photo with a skater. You know that he will be all over trying to get her.
That will change. Yeah, exactly. And I may have said this on the show before. You just stop me if I have. There's a thing about like all these like musical prodigies, like a lot of like amazing young concert pianists.
Like Mozart.
Well, he was the exception to the rule, but
Well,
like,
wasn't he a young concert prodigy?
he was. He
right?
was.
Didn't he go and play with the blindfold on, Jonathan?
You've seen the film.
Yes. Okay.
But a lot of these prodigies never become anything. Very rarely do they become something past the novelty of their age. Okay. And it's because it's all mimicked. Mm-hmm. They learn to impersonate what virtuosity in an artist sounds like. Mm-hmm. So then as they achieve adulthood and it's like, well, what is your artistic voice? Mm-hmm. And suddenly there is none because it's only been dictated and imitated.
I think she has a voice in there.
She has a voice, and I think this is the way to find it.
You know what I mean? See it in the eyes and in the like. There's a maturity coming out.
Yeah, it's very at ease. It's the right energy. I know that sounds weird, but it's the right energy. Oh, but like, and with Frank and Michelle Zalame, exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. It's not normal that like your usual team can take you from that season to that season like that.
Yeah.
So I understand the change.
And even Michelle made changes at times. Sometimes we didn't agree with them, Sarah Kawahara. But, we can tell Michelle that to her face. And we can...
time.
With
like
time.
Literally 20 years. Okay.
Yes. Oh, I had a funny... Anyway. Hanyu, when we get into before we get into the show, he's going to get an award in Japan. We just need to do, it's called the People's Honor Award. And it's interesting. I was reading about this because I didn't know anything about it. And it was established in 1977. And the national award, by the way, NBC, you have such a typo that we would get killed for at work. The national award has been given to 25 individuals and one group for their achievements in sports, entertainment, and culture. Other prestigious gold medalists who have received the prestigious award are... I guess a female judo is called a judoka, and Yashiro Yamashita, wrestlers Saori Yoshido and Kori Icho, and marathon runner Naoko Takahashi. So I probably butchered all of those names, and I apologize if I did.
But they're just fine.
But he's getting it from the Prime Minister on July 2nd. And what I thought was interesting about this is that Kohei Uchimura, who is like a fabulous, almost like equivalent of Hanyu in terms of gymnastics talent, but perhaps not stardom. He won basically he was on top for 8 years in a row, and he's still a top gymnast. I'm like, why hasn't he gotten this award? Why is he not so famous?
Well, Hanyu is only just now getting it after a second gold medal.
Well, I want to know, why is Kohei not more famous in Japan? He's got beautiful technique, and is he famous, and is he underrated, and... Yeah.
Is the discipline is popular there?
I don't think so. So maybe that's something to do. But he's such a virtuoso as well. So I wanted to know.
You want to put your hat in the ring.
I just want to say that they are both wonderful Japanese virtuosos, and I appreciate both of their talents. So
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. And also, speaking of Brian Orser, Alyssa Liu, who's our little junior who does that triple axel that's a little bit cheated, she visited Orser with her coach to work on the triple axel, and he told her that she was a little bit hunched like Nam Nguyen was, and they need to straighten that out, her posture, and that she can get it. So there is hope there with that little prodigy. So they went to work with the master.
Exciting. Yeah. By the end of the third jump, sometimes she's like this, but it's amazing that she can do it. Yeah, it's got to start somewhere.
It needs a little work. We've seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
Jonathan, she's like all we have, so we really have to. We need this to go.
The future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Send her to Skate America.
All right, let's start on Fantasy on Ice. Now, we need our Japanese fans to explain to us like how the Japanese show system is working this summer, and I forget who does which show. I know it has to do with agencies and whatnot. So which shows does Shoma Uno do?
Yeah, because we for sure weren't seeing Shoma, Mao.
No.
Some of the usual fare that I would have.
So which shows did they do? They do that. When is the Ice? The Ice is another big show, so we need to cover that one too, Jonathan. When does the Ice happen? And what are the Shibutanis doing in Nagano? There's something there, and then I tried to look, and then it came up in all Japanese, and I couldn't translate it. So I think our Japanese viewers will let us know what's going on. When are we seeing the other ones? And then how many like little shows are there? And the interesting thing about Fantasy on Ice is we get one broadcast of Stars on Ice. They are broadcasting 3 different locations. 3 different tour stops get broadcast to let you know how skating is doing in Japan, Jonathan. So
It's doing awesome.
it's doing well.
It's doing awesome. I still don't love shows. So I still, whether you aired it 3 times or no times, I still probably have to be forcing myself to watch.
But did you ever like the shows?
You know, the first time I went to like Champions on Ice like a million years ago, and I enjoyed it because it was the first time I saw a lot of them live.
Come on. So didn't you love to watch, like, it would start to get warm out, and it was starting to be nice, and you were like a couple weeks away from skating, and then you would see like Nicole Bobek dressed as Evita sliding across the ice, going to the judges with that bleach blonde hair, being all dramatic, telling us that you must love me, and like.
Well, the thing is, once I started traveling to the competitions, then I was toast. I was like, I don't need to see a show ever again. It's the spotlights. I hate the darkness and the cheesy lighting.
I like a well-done show, like when Sandra would do her shows. I liked them very much, and I
it's a weird thing about me. I think it's a weird Jonathan thing that I want the lights up.
I like...
You like the spotlights?
Well, I like both. I don't like to see the skaters flopping around, and then you're like, well, it's the spotlights. And I'm like, if they're going to do spotlights, I want them prepared and trained. And
exactly.
Because in Stars on Ice, Christy didn't fall out of jumps and spotlights.
And also the nice thing is, like, when I used to go see Champions on Ice and stuff, they were in big arenas. Mm-hmm. So the ice was a regular surface. Even this, the ice looked like a square almost. And I was like, that must just be...
Did you ever notice that the World Pro, the lights would be on for the technical program, and then the lights would be off for the artistic program?
All I remember is the Czech pair.
The Czech pair ripping the lights.
The floor lights. I was like, who put floor lights in there? She gets a quad, like, drags the whole thing over. That was a funny clip.
Speaking of, we can talk about the World Pro more throughout this. We should judge one this summer because it was like my favorite event. So
yeah, okay.
So Hanyu gave an interview too, and he said that he still wants to do the quadruple axel, but that currently his foot is hurting him for the triple lutz, the triple flip, and the triple loop. So he's not doing them on tour. He did do a gorgeous triple axel with wings on. It looks like his best jump, for sure. And the triple toe was also, very, very strong here. Jonathan, what did you make of his performance?
He was wearing like a 1980s drapery valance on the back. Like, this was more than wings, right?
It looks like, remember the Rudy Galindo winged costume circa 1997? And Rudy also used to have, when the ladies used to have the skating dress, and then you would see like Karen Preston, like the dress would come up to here. And
with the finger up, yeah.
It would always be like the string that would go around the middle finger on both sides, like very 1992. Mm-hmm. And Rudy always had that on his costumes, and I always really loved it.
Like a widow's peak.
Yes.
Yeah. None far greater than the violin, where his arm was the violin. Again, that takes the cake for me, but What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? So I wasn't really feeling the music. I don't think we're the intended audience for this.
Correct. I think that is the correct assumption.
But I thought thought his triple axel was spectacular.
It was so light. There was something so refreshingly like champagne-y, bubbly about it. Like it was a really nice quality. And lights. I mean, in the spotlights like that. I was really impressed.
So I want a moment of honesty.
Okay.
When he talks about the quad axel, what are your feelings?
Oh, that it's a talking point exclusively.
Okay.
That he knows how much was almost derailed from merely attempting a quad lutz. Mm-hmm. Not merely, but by comparison, like I just don't see.
So his axel technique is better than his lutz technique. And granted, his quad lutz when he did it well was stunning, but we also saw when it wasn't done that well.
It's just at this juncture, is that kind of risk, that kind of potential injury, is that worth it?
And is it physically possible?
Well, I mean, other people they're holding on to the hopes that, yes, it is. Like when Tom was trying to get like...
And then Tom would always tag us in it, and then it would be someone in a harness. And it would be like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So if anyone is going to do it, it's going to be Hanyu. But I don't know if it's physically possible.
See it.
What?
That kind of fall is going to be tough to watch.
But I thought it was funny that they asked him if he's doing the the quad axel. It's like, wasn't he just like broken in two right before the Olympics? And like,
didn't he just tell you he's not doing a triple loop?
Yeah.
Like,
come
on,
can we have a moment of?
Yeah, just calm down. We're so thrilled you learned the word quad finally.
We're so glad he's doing another season. Is he
Right.
doing 4 more years? Like has he said if he's doing 4 more years, or he just said he's continuing?
He's committed, yeah. But
So I think that's probably why Orser's taking on Bo Yangshin and others too, because he, like,
Right.
look, realistically, Hanyu could go another 4 years. He could
Right.
also say like, I'm good after a year. You don't know. Like, it's
right, or do 2, make it to the middle. Yeah,
yeah, it'll be interesting. This is an interesting storyline. I'm interested to follow it.
yeah.
So even like, it was interesting in the note for Jason Brown. It said that Jason would be working with Tracy, Karen Preston, random, didn't know she was on the team at the cricket club, Lee Barkell,
Okay.
Tracy, but it didn't mention Ghislaine, and like Ghislaine is like exclusively Hanyu, or seems like Hanyu's main guy. So like Ghislaine will go to Japan with Hanyu. Like that's his tactical.
Well, so
work.
who is getting the quad for Jason? Who's been assigned that task?
I
Not
think
Jason.
Brian will help him with it. And then I guess Lee Barkell will help, but Lee Barkell's technical thing to me is like a leg wrap of Megan Duhamel and Gabby
Right.
Gilman. Like I don't. And then like Jeff Buttle, like I don't know. Like what
Did you
is.
bring a miracle worker in a way?
I think that it will be Brian that will get him the quad.
But his name was not mentioned.
Ghislaine's name was not mentioned. But
Yeah.
Ghislaine also is. He's been in Japan lately and worked with all of Mia Hamada's students. So I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
That like he was working with them while Tom Dixon was working with them. So
Right.
I was like, that's interesting. That's
Yeah. I'm always intrigued what that whole camp comes up with.
if the cricket club stays intact for 4 more years and Ghislaine stays there and everyone stays happy, it'll be interesting because did you feel like the quote was weird when Brian said that previously he asked Hanyu about taking on he asked Javier about taking on Hanyu, but he did not ask Hanyu if he should take on Bo Yangjin. He just told him. And I thought that was an interesting one. Brian's become a way more successful legend of a coach at this point.
Than ever was maybe expected.
And he is so he's growing as Hanyu is growing. And he's not growing because of Hanyu. Like, they're both just growing kind of at the same point. Like, Hanyu is great and Brian is great because Brian has also shown he can done it. He's done it with Yuna. He's done it with Javier. He's done it with Hanyu. He's even helped Gabby Dillman to a world medal, which is like miracle. I mean, miracle, praise Jesus. You know,
Yeah.
PJ Kwong never thought she would see the day. She is so happy.
Ladies, yeah. Okay.
That moment, you know, it was a day, Jonathan. It was a day for all of us.
It's national holiday now.
Yes. So, as I said, Alyssa Liu is all we have, you know.
Right. So enjoy her.
And you know, and the 2 years until Gracie either comes back and looks amazing or bows out, we will see. Well, maybe Gracie can come back and
It'll be maybe Gracie forever. Yeah. I mean, the thing with Brian is interesting because clearly so much of the goal for Hanyu was to get to Korea,
yes,
right, and to have the repeat happen, which it did. So maybe he's like, I don't have to. Maybe he also knows, like he's just kind of taken some of the gas off of.
And is he also like gauging for a reaction, seeing? But I thought it was interesting. He was like, if he had a problem with it, I would have known. It just seems like there's a weird dynamic there. Like,
well, at this juncture, I'm curious how much actual time is being spent together working on the craft.
but obviously Brian does bring something to his skating. Otherwise, they wouldn't still.
100%. But maybe at this juncture, it's not as much a 24/7 kind of commitment either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So much building has been done. So maybe the idea of maintaining and tweaking.
So I think Brian's an excellent manager for him in terms of like giving him instruction on what to do and all of that. So
I think so too.
maybe Brian's like a Suzanne who's just giving him, you know, the order and telling him.
Well, let's see, because and that's this idea of let's see. This is pretty huge for that team right now.
Yeah,
they got a lot of all right. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you did.
Yeah, I think that having Jin there will motivate Hanyu, and I think we'll know pretty quickly: is he in or is he out? I think
we know about another American lady who just made a switch to another coach.
Oh, it's not official. She had a tryout.
Never mind.
Well, no, we should talk about it, though. Let's talk about it. Karen Chen trying out with Arashev.
Oh, not even where I was going.
Oh, my God. I probably forgot about one, but okay.
Okay.
So Karen Chen.
Much more on the
trying out with Arashev. Well, Doug Ha did say that she needed to tone up at the Olympics. So I just think if she's doing that workout class off ice that Arashev has where they're doing like the handstand walks and the box jumps, and if she can survive that class and
she's fine.
Alex's personality.
Well, that's the part that really surprises me, because she does seem like a bit of an orchid, a bit of a fragile girl, which fine, but certainly that's not what I would think of would make for a great match in Chicago. Right.
But it's an interesting one. If anyone could get Karen Chen confident about her jumping and her triple and force her to do it a different way, it would be our friend Alex Arashev. Okay?
Yeah.
And it would also be so entertaining. I mean, so entertaining.
Yeah. Kiss and cry moments abound. Yeah.
And I think that she should work with Marina on her artistry. Definitely don't self-choreograph. And...
again, to me, that sends a message like you are unchoreographable in some way. That's what you are.
And I think maybe Alex can make her choreographable and coachable. Like, he is just, he's a lot. He's a lot, but maybe it'll bring out the bitch in Karen Chen, and she will be great on the ice. You know, she will...
I think she could use a bit of that. Actually, it's an intriguing marriage of opposites.
So I don't think she's settled on it yet, but it's interesting. I think it's fascinating. It's
something we're thinking about. Okay.
I think we need this to happen. What?
When is it too late for next season?
You have to get it in the next couple of weeks. You have to make a decision and go.
If I were Karen Chen sitting at home from Worlds,
so she was just touring. Figuring her life out, but she needs to make a decision. And
I would just think like probably that time happens really fast. Like let's say she did say, okay, let's do it. She moves to Chicago, what? Like mid-June, all of a sudden, like I would feel like
she's already in Michigan. And Tammy's in Colorado, and I'm sorry. It's time for Karen to seek outside.
Oh, of course.
And she's been at the cricket club too, but I don't think she was really being considered. I don't believe that. I know that there are rumors, but I think those rumors start because she was there skating at the cricket club, but...
Right.
So... And Daleman is not a full-time Bryan student either. Now, could Karen become a Lee Barkel student? Is that the way she was trying to get in? I don't know, but I think that Karen with Arashev would be interesting. So he would make a woman out of her. You know, like it would be... oh my God.
Yikes. Okay.
So which lady were you talking about switching coaches?
I was talking about Courtney.
Oh my God, I didn't know if you were going to talk about one of the males who were being rude. I forgot about Courtney Hicks.
I could be rude in so many other more interesting ways.
You got me really nervous. Okay? I was like, who?
I think I'm thinking of.
So
is there a man who has made a move?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh.
But I just was like, is he being really rude? Who's he talking about? So...
I didn't know if that information was...
Courtney Hicks, I think, has been with Corey full-time. Everyone else has left Monument. I don't know if Jordan Moeller is still there.
An unusual time to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, there's like talk that Corey wants to be a motivational speaker. It was interesting. Jason would be at Monument when she wasn't there, but like the program, Heather was there, who runs it, and this girl, Emily, and obviously they were reporting back to Corey. Like...
Right.
The whole, like, everyone else, Tomoki has left, Jason has left, like, the Titanic is going, like, the band has stopped playing in Monument.
Literally, but they really stopped playing.
Roheen has stopped Roheen left too, even before he went on, and no one is even talking about it.
Right.
Like what happened there? He lived with her.
Right.
He lived with her, and then he was staying in California. Like, what happened? So now Roheen, who got very upset with you at that one competition,
I don't remember.
But you made up and it's all fine. And Roheen's touring, and we love to watch him skate, and I love to watch Roheen skate. So literally, like, basically all of the lifeboats on the Titanic have left.
Right.
That is when Courtney Hicks would go to town, isn't it? Like, it just feels perfect.
She bought her ticket for the return voyage.
Jonathan, I feel bad because I felt like I gave the Courtney Hicks, like, that poor thing, she's retiring anyway, let's just be nice, last season to her. Like, I've never talked about her tweets.
She got another medal. She got another Grand Prix medal.
But by accident. But, like, I feel like we've never talked about her tweets. We don't talk about, like, we don't take those shots at her. Like, she's just...
Well, a lot of people, like, because I would say something, for some reason, I always kind of wanted her to do well.
She was...
And I can't figure out why.
She's like the American Gabby Daleman, and you were waiting for her to get her world medal.
Era where she had great potential in the jump. She's still, like, one of the fastest ones out there. Mm-hmm. But it never quite lined up, did it? Right?
No.
And I would be like, gosh, I just kind of wish for her that it would line up because, like you mentioned before, if she could just go in and just be solid, mm-hmm. she'll keep accidentally winning medals mm-hmm. because the jumps are good when they happen. Or exciting when they happen. Like, something should have happened somehow, somewhere, I thought.
Now, is Corey going to will herself to, like, make Courtney into, like, a champion? Or will it just be, like, it's going to go one or the other?
I think Courtney will maintain the same level, and then Corey will be mad if she doesn't get better miraculously without the help.
And is Douglas Ray still there? Like, what's going on at Monument? Like...
Oh. Yeah.
And, like, he had a solid thing going on in Arizona. Like, did he give up the whole thing? Like, what is the real deal? Did he want to retire to Colorado? Like, that was just that was a strange choice. That was strange. Like...
Yeah. It also was surprising because not only did I think Courtney was not going to go to Corey, mm-hmm. but I also didn't realize she was continuing.
Right. And we didn't remember... I didn't think Angela Wang was continuing either, and she wants to do another year.
Right.
So, and then she did a video where she was like, Michelle helped her as Karen was choreographing. By the way, happy 40th birthday to Karen Kwan.
She's crazy.
Crazy. I feel so old. Like,
I was like, oh no.
It is her birthday today. We love you, Karen. But Michelle was doing it with Angela. And, like, while it seems like a cool idea for Instagram in theory to, like, film yourself skating with Michelle Kwan, when you're doing the same choreographer as her side by side...
Apples, yeah, exactly.
Never good. Never.
Yeah. Right.
You gotta refrain, Jonathan.
Right.
It would be like... Yeah, no. That was a...
picture of you guys hanging out.
Yes. Doing yoga together, you know?
Exactly.
And even that is rough, because Michelle loves to show off those abs. You know, she loves to... It's hard.
I would too.
Michelle's
she's better now than she ever has been, right?
I know, it's ridiculous.
Crazy.
You know.
Yeah.
She told me she does a 5-minute plank every morning.
I don't work out 5 minutes a day.
I can't do a plank for I'm trying to do 2.5 right now. And it's tough, okay. Jonathan. You know, I try to do them on all sides and...
I'll believe you.
Okay.
Dan, try one though. Okay.
All right. Oh, speaking of, Orser also has a ton of junior men coming up too, which is very Karolis because they always had the seniors and the juniors. So we have Steven Gogolev.
That's holy cow.
Conrad Orzel, and there's a rumor that the other Joseph Fan from Canada is also going to be
right there,
trying out and possibly joining the team. So he'll have like the top 3 junior men in Canada, kind of like on the Junior Grand Prix battling it out. And,
well, that to me also, like, if you were like a super hungry coach, mm-hmm. that's who you'd be going after.
Yeah. Like
USFS, like, bless your heart, abandon the senior ranks for a while. Just
mm-hmm.
abandon it. How could it be worse? You know, like, go after, like, the really, really full of potential novice and juniors right now, and you cultivate that. This is almost too late.
Too late. And it's interesting. He seems to be really into men's skating. Like, yes, he's working with Medvedeva, but he seems to be really into artistic leading men's skating the way Mishin was. I think that's interesting.
Right.
So, well, speaking of, you wanted to talk about Medvedeva's program with the feather. Skating, she's skating to Anadi's Experience, which is the piece that Circles borrows and is based after and all of that. So, what?
She told the story. I don't know what it was. I don't know what was happening, but she was committed. And I was like,
and there was
an actress. She's Xing it out at the end of the program with her feather pen. Like, it's all this stuff. It's there. Mm-hmm. She just needs to learn to cultivate it in a different way. But she's a beautiful girl, or woman. I mean, she creates a very nice image on the ice. I don't know. I'm excited, and I didn't mind it as much as I could because I was trying to find the good in her pantomiming. The pantomime is still horrendous that it was there, but I suddenly, for the first time, was like, okay, this is why she's doing it, and it is fulfilling her in an artistic way, I guess.
You could tell it was still in a Terry program because she went for the lunge, but it was like a shallow lunge, and that needs to be a moment. Like, she needs to do a lunge
as far as she can go. Yeah.
And goes across the ice to the boards like a Nicole Bobeck moment,
wow moment. Yeah.
Everything she does, no thrown away movements anymore. When you get on that spread eagle, you need to hold it for a while and
you are
soak up the audio.
Spread eagle.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are North American now. Like, you are really doing it, girl. Come on.
Exactly.
I think she's got potential. I think once she learns the shtick, she'll be like, oh.
She'll be right. Yeah, she just needs to learn the way.
I think it'll be great. Yeah, so who else did you like in the show? Lambiel, I thought, was fantastic.
I guess it's been a while since I've seen him. That was the performance that I was like, okay.
He steals every show that he is in.
Right. But exquisite. Mm-hmm. It was just absolutely exquisite skating.
And when you watch him as a pro, don't you wish he could have done more numbers like that in his competitive days?
It's that liberation that comes with age and freedom from the competition, I suppose. Like, in those, if everyone could do what he's doing, I would be much more into shows and exhibition skating.
Just remember when he did, the William Tell Overture, whatever that program was in Vancouver, that it was just a lot of costume, and there's just, and as soon as he turned professional, it was just like, the zebra came off, and he was just fantastic. I just, there was...
It's some sort of owning a sense of self, or, you know what I mean? It's like hippy-dippy energy, but he, felt comfortable in his own skin, and then the skating got even better. Yeah. It's been amazing, yeah.
So let's talk about your two favorite girls from Japan, Satoko and Rika Kihira. So what are your thoughts?
Well, Akiko was there.
John, what was that program? I love her.
I was like, here she comes.
Was that Fern Gully? Fern Gully 2?
It was tribal, and I fell asleep due to the trance music. And the thing is, I love her. I love to just see her smile and see her skating again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was confused by the program. There must be such an effort to be the fun program or the interesting program that people shy away from being just lovely. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Akiko, you have earned the right to just be lovely. Just go skate around and be lovely. No more tribal sounds, please.
And as usual, I thought that Miki Ando was a wonderful athlete. I didn't get the program. I did not. I don't.
I didn't know what to expect from the jumping, and I was like, good for you. Mm-hmm. Good for you. I mean, it was a more competitive program than Johnny.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Satoko and Rika, let's hear it, okay?
Yeah.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah, tell me. Oh, about programs?
Well, we know she's doing a tango.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a rumor it's going to be the 8 seasons.
Of Grand Prix Final Fame.
Of Jeremy Abbott.
Yeah.
Which would be stunning.
Yeah.
I heard it's a Tom Dixon tango, and it's mature Satoko, and
there was some video floating around of the footwork sequence, right?
Yeah.
But it was kind of out of context, so I couldn't
That's
of course,
where I think the 8 seasons comes in. But that was what was... So, yeah, that was
okay.
amazing. So...
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. And it was interesting because her jumps looked a little cheated in that video. Let's talk about it. Under the lights.
Doing a Lutz. She pulled out her triple Lutz in those spotlights. Again. Well, whatever.
Listen, Shinamano was not buying it. But
there's more revolutions than Johnny did on any show.
Again, correct. And we will get to that. Correct.
Okay.
But Rika Kihira tried a triple flip with both arms. Now, it's interesting because they've been working with Ghislaine, as we said. They choreographed a quad toe into her free skate this year. And I heard she looks really good and that she's working on a quad toe and a quad sow. For
something about the axle, like when you see like Midori or even Bless, like Mirai or somebody like that, that like, okay, but a quad is not in the works,
Yeah.
With something about Rika's triple axel, you were like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Something about this seems very gettable.
She seems like a worker. Like when she first came on, she had nice qualities, but she wasn't a Satoko and she wasn't a Marin, but she was pleasant. She's becoming more of a Rika. Like there's just she's getting lovelier. There's more time. Clearly Mia can spend more attention on her, and I think it's working for her.
What do you mean she's become a Rika?
Like she's becoming her own voice, her own.
Hey, I was like, is this going to some Rika Hongo something or other? Because
no.
Yeah.
Like she's becoming lovely in her own way. That's not. It's not Akiko. It's not Satoko. Like she's developing her own kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it may have started because of that damn triple axel.
Yeah.
But it has not defined her skating either in a really amazing way.
And thankfully, the music I hated last season is not defining it either. Like, she's developing, like, very lovely. And, like, yes, she was doing La Vie en Rose, which we've seen a million times. But I thought it was nice. It was just...
But it must have taught her something.
I feel like she's getting the jumps now. And at a certain point, Satoko won't be around forever. And she will become Mia Hamada's #1 girl. And maybe the programs will continue to get better for her. And we'll continue to see...
I have a feeling they will. They strike me like the kinds that will.
She's a slow burn. Like, a couple years ago, she was, like, not a factor at Nationals. Then she was, like, kind of...
She try a triple axel? Yeah.
So I think that she's an interesting one. Like, she's like she's coming on. Like, she's kind of like a...
I mean, she may just plow right past Sakamoto.
I think she will, yeah.
But we don't know what their plans are now that she had the outbreak, the breakout season.
But not at the Olympics. Higuchi really was spectacular at the World Championships. So
one thing probably has a killer triple axel. Could she pull off a quad? I don't know.
But it makes Japanese ladies skating more interesting. I think going for the 3 spots for them, I think that would be really interesting if it would be Rika, Satoko, and will Satoko, stay in the mix? Will she move up? Will Marin Honda, get it together? Like, it's going to be really interesting.
And what about our 4 continents gal, Mai?
Oh, Mai Murakami?
No, Mai Mihara.
Oh yeah, Mai Mihara. Sorry, I'm always forgetting about her, Jonathan.
Which of course is the problem. But she's one of those that keeps sneaking in at funny times. Because she can be so solid.
She can be.
She has that.
She does have that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
she does.
So Johnny doing the Swan.
To an electric violin. Like, oh my gosh. Do you know what an instrument is called the theremin?
What is a theremin?
Okay, it's like kitsch. I'm sure some like hipsters.
Don't they sell thermoses? Like this is no, that's.
It's like it came out like I'm gonna get all this wrong, but it really became popular like 60s, something like that. And it's like energy waves, and you can like you adjust the pitch or something with this hand, and you like play a fake string in this hand.
Is that how Taylor Swift sings? Like, is that what's going on there?
Basically autotune, but you're playing it,
okay.
It's amazing. And now there's like some hilarious.
So it's like the musical equivalent of when Adam sings. Yeah, right? Like.
No, because when the theremin does it, they're actually creating.
Oh, okay.
So But we should look it up because there's Clara Rockmore, Clara somebody, theremin. She does the swan on the theremin, and it's kind of amazing, and you can't go back.
Okay.
But if you are going to have another version, please use the cello and not an electric violin. The whole thing was just like kind of like tinny and weird, and the old costume and the.
I was impressed that he could fit in the old costume. Like, that was impressive to me from like his peak weight, like peak, right? Here's the thing about Johnny and his whole generation. We've talked about it a lot, how they never really kept up their level. I felt like Johnny becoming a professional, we thought he might have so much artistic
right
ability, and then it just became all costumey and self-choreographed
right
schlock, you know?
Well, an occasional like Instagram video of suddenly like a gorgeous triple axel.
He would do triple axels all the time, and then we wouldn't see it. And then, but he would do the triple axels almost every day on Instagram, and then we'd see a triple toe. So there's like a weird, he holds himself back because we know what he's capable of.
Well, but it's hard to say. I mean, I can't even imagine that the shows are the bulk of his livelihood right now.
But he does make a decent amount doing shows, right? And
sure, but I'm sure the time commitment is different because he's stuck in a booth. He's going to do some weird, promo, something. Like, he kind of made a choice, I feel. And he made a choice. You can't blame him because he can commentate more often than he can train.
I feel like he made a choice years ago that he just didn't really push himself as hard as he could have. I
feel like I never really got him because there was the reputation as a lazy skater or a lazy trainer a bit. Like, the ability should have meant more, maybe, in the resume.
Like, he always seemed like he improvised on the ice when we'd see him in those late night videos, but he was never, like, working a program and working the details and working the nuances and sticking with it. And
it had, like, an ADHD feel of, like, these bursts of, like, amazing moments and ideas and things, and then they never really kind of culminated in anything past that. What really blew my mind, though, was when he really did try and came back for that Finlandia trophy. Mm-hmm. Was that 2013?
Yeah.
Maybe it was the year before. It was him, like, trying to prove he was going to make the comeback.
2012-2013 season, yeah.
He tried. Like, right?
Sort of, but remember then he, like, withdrew, like...
Well, he showed up at Finlandia. Yeah. It was clear he was putting in an effort, and then was clearly like, you know what, I've made a terrible mistake. Like, yeah. But it was clear that he actually was trying to put in this real work, and then ultimately decided that it was not a smart idea.
Yeah,
which was correct, but
it was correct. Yeah, but I feel like he had so much potential, and it's sad that I feel like, and I know his diehard fans will disagree, but I just felt like Carmen, like, to me it's been more about the costume for him and like what piece of music he's going to put on than the actual program, like and it's all been like self choreographed instead of him like working with a great crew.
Yeah.
Whereas Lambiel and Jeff Buttle have continued to evolve, and I feel like
substance. Yeah,
maybe that's just who he is. Like at a certain point, like it's
working in the field. Like, I would assume this must happen a little bit in skating. Like, in music, a lot of times when one starts to teach, suddenly they become a better musician as a result of the teaching. Like,
so Lambiel was always like a good
right.
And is he similar with his commentary, where it's like it's almost good, but it's not?
It's insightful and then it's schlock.
Yeah.
It's undercut by like a cheap line. Yeah.
And I think like when he had a coach that was like really whipping him, it was more enjoyable, and maybe we've just seen it so much that we're like, ugh. Now,
and he did a Dancing with the Stars.
He was not on Dancing with the Stars, no.
I cannot imagine they didn't try at some point.
I know, they put Evan on because Yuki had the hookup, and no one wanted to see Evan. I think we wanted to see Johnny. But America's gayer now than it was in 2010. So that's probably why they did that. Like,
because it probably would have been a great vehicle for Johnny.
Like, back then on Dancing with the Stars, like when Bristol Palin was on, it was like a huge thing, and like all the GOP supporters, like, even though she was a terrible dancer, it wasn't about the dancing, and all these people like voted for her. So it might have been too much of like a thing back then if Johnny did Dancing with the Stars, and now Adam was on, and it was like duh, like
That was why everyone liked him. Yeah, exactly. So
I know everyone was just like, oh, like, yeah, so it's a different, like, society's changed, I guess, kind of,
yeah.
like, so much of, I feel like, Johnny's persona, like, when he would do gender bending stuff, like, that's why he got so much attention, and he played it well for his day and did well in his own. But it's weird because Plushenko, when he goes out there and he's doing a triple toe, and he's doing his classic
every time, like he looks like he is about to quad toe it.
Yes,
and I was like, is he gonna try a quad? Like,
he sells that schlock so hard when he's doing it, and it's
confidence is not the issue.
Yeah, I kind of buy into it after a while. Like he looks like he's giving it everything he has. Those same running steps across the ice. It's like
right.
I know. I mean, is there a scene in opera, like, do you get to the point where there's the old showgirl and you're like, she's gonna go for the note, she's gonna do it, And then is there a point when she's too? Is there a point when she's too old and you're like, she's gonna go for the note? It's an octave lower, but she went for it. Like it's, She's
also viable, other option. Yeah, that was not the super high note. Okay.
I felt that way when I saw Streisand in.
You're like, these are different harmonies. Well, or when she would go live, and she would do the duets with herself, she started pre-recording the higher part of the duet and then would sing the lower part of the duet live. Don't blame her. Mm-hmm. I got you. I know what you're doing.
I saw her in Brooklyn last year, and it was she spent a lot of time being like, I wake up and I think about the earth and pollution. I meditate about it. And I was just like, literally, the talking was better than the actual singing. It was just so crazy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said by like how much you believe what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And you can trick a lot of people.
She believes it a lot,
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this? Like Brady using that same choreographer after, this girl got so much feedback and information that we thought that the Cinderella was not the way to go.
Seems like a no-brainer.
And then she uses them again? Like,
when are you committing to that? Or do you think there are talks about that while the season is going on?
Don't you think? And then there were people that like wanted. Apparently they got it at Champs Camp. Look, if she didn't know that people didn't think that program was appropriate, she wasn't paying attention. No one was paying attention. Obviously, they knew.
But like, I just wonder, like, does it happen during the season in that like she still is going to the Olympics, right? Whether or not we think the Cinderella program is great, whatever, that Cinderella program is going, and it's going as national champion. And it's going to be in the team event.
So now that there is no team event, and she's doing it again, and I get that people think that she's all we have, and yet she already seems like she's growing up a bit, and who knows? Do we have to forgive it as much this year? Do we have to be like, oh, yeah, I don't...
I think it's going to be harsher. When that spotlight is on you as national champion and you come in and we're like, show us what you got. Mm-hmm. You automatically demand more.
I want real edges now and real...
But my question is, like, was she prepping with that choreographer, so it was like weird, and so they kind of like committed to another?
I don't know. To me, it would be like if Karen Chen did another season in the Avant to Boots. That's just...
It would be just as nonsensical. Yeah.
And you know what else is nonsensical? Scott Brown got PSA Choreographer of the Year, Jonathan.
That tells you everything you need to know about the PSA.
And people were like trying to spin. They're like, well, he's been nominated before and didn't get it. And it's like, no. I know you're all political and full of shit and up each other's asses and then talking crap about each other the next day. But no.
Give a stamp of approval. And now people that don't know any better will go like, well, we should find the best choreographer. Look, they said this is the best choreographer. And you're like...
There's just no accounting for taste anymore, Jonathan. There's just...
Everyone has to leave. Everyone has to leave. Russia, apparently everyone has to leave the United States.
We just gotta go. Okay?
It's time to visit Lori Nickel.
It's time to visit Lori. Commit to the program. All right?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. I hope next week is as entertaining as this week. It's been a lot, Jonathan.
Looking to the fake, like, friends next to you. Like...
Yeah.
He's just win that award.
Did Scott Brown
Is
win?
this real life?
Is
Did
this-
Courtney Hicks just go to Monument? No.
No, no.
You're mistaken. You're mistaken.
Mervyn Tran is continuing? Like, Sean Rabbit wanted to know where he is, wanted... Like, you know how Khloe Kardashian asked for privacy? Sean Rabbit also did, as he determines whether or not he's following...
Samesies. Yeah. Well, and there was another... good way to bring it up, Jonathan.
He was shirtless again this week, by the way. Sean Rabbit loves a thirsty Instagram picture. Loves it. Loves it.
Okay. Someone else was switching to pairs. It was a man. Good one, Jonathan. This is a really good point. And I'm
it
going
was
to look.
not Hannah Miller after like 20 years of people trying to politely tell her.
But I'm gonna go do my research because there were a couple of Instagram posts that I want to go revisit because a couple of surprising people were like segueing out.
Also,
Here.
we knew that Aliona was coaching, and she told me she's not going to make an announcement, so I haven't said anything. But she is true. Our friend Megan Duhamel is coaching this season, and not alongside Bruno, actually. She's helping Jose Picard with Julianne and Charlie, and she did bring Julianne to her Pilates class with Leslie Angeles, the former gym dog, who also does my Arbonne cleanse. And I was like, and by the way, bitch, I've lost 10 pounds since we started, yes, but Julianne and Megan together, that interesting. Aliona and Megan at competitions together, like, just feels right, doesn't it? Like, doesn't
Like it's their equivalent of a teacher's lounge.
Yes, like, who's more intense there? Like, this just got interesting for me. That's a lot of...
Wow, that's intriguing. I feel like that's a good coach.
Yeah.
I feel, even whether or not aesthetically I always agreed, or whether or not the leg wrappy, whatever, like, she made it work for her, and I don't know, I'm really intrigued by this.
You want to do jazzercise with her, don't you? You want to do your Jane Fonda videos
I
with...
want to grab my chair.
Yes! Like,
Yeah.
Look, when I went to film there, I would meet her at the rink at, like, they train at the Ass Crack of Dawn, where Bruno's people are. She brings you, like, her vegan smoothie that she made, and it's good, though, but it's made from, like, oats and hemp and, like, all these nutritious things, and you're like, oh, this was quite good. I just feel like she's just gonna, like, have Julianne follow her way of being, and all of a sudden will, like...
I think Julianne will go for it.
Mm-hmm. All I know is that when Megan... When Aliona... Because I initially said to Megan, I'm like, do you think Aliona's going to... I heard a rumor that she's going to be in Chicago when we got that message. And I said, I think she's going to coach Alexa and Chris? And she was like, no way, she's touring. And then when she announced it, she's like, well, I'll just say that who I'm working is going to do better than who she's working with. And I was like, we need Megan and Aliona competitive with one another.
Well, competitor. Always a competitor.
Always a competitor. I love it.
Yeah.
In it for the fight,
But Megan, who has always admired both Aliona and Alexa,
Yeah.
she has always been very complimentary of their talents. But I like that she's still like, but I'm going to kick their butt.
Do you think she'll be entertaining by the boards?
Oh, I think she'll be animated times 10. Or is she like super serious and very stoic and professional and like has like 35 like inspirational quotes at the ready?
See, I think that Kirsten Moortower should work with Megan, but I do think that she would kill her. But I do think that it maybe like would be beneficial at the same time.
Yeah, it's tough when it's like they're probably friendlier now, but I don't think they're like would consider each other like close friends. But like that can be dicey territory. Like the way Aliona and Alexa and the way Megan and Julianne will be doing it, it's like that right kind of mutual admiration. Mm-hmm. Probably very friendly, but it's not the same as receiving advice from your friend. That could be a tough dynamic to me.
Don't you kind of want to go to Pilates and yoga with Megan? And like...
I would be too intimidated. No, I don't.
No, I've gone out to all the vegan places with her in Montreal. They're quite good, okay?
Do they all her?
And then they have their friend, and he's from Israel, and he's great. And no, it's fantastic. Like I have to like
created
this
a lifestyle for herself there. Okay.
Yeah, like I want to go to Montreal too. Okay, like.
And I kind of like that she's breaking out and doing her own coaching thing. She's not just like staying under the wing. Because even if they do end up coaching together, even if they don't end up coaching together, the more exposure to do your own coaching in your own arena, literally, then I think you can develop probably more.
So I have a fun little tidbit story that happened.
Okay.
So last time I went to Montreal, went with Jose Picard, and I guess they hadn't looked so good at one event during the summer, Juliet and Charlie, and I filmed with them, and I said, like, and it was the last day there, and I texted Megan, and I said, by the way, they look fantastic. And she goes, well, they're very good, but they need to be doing a harder lift. Why aren't they doing this lift? They're losing points on the baseline. And that was when I was at Skate America, I think she said. I said again, because I said they look really good, and she said that to me. And of course, she was like getting ready to compete the next week. She's like, they're losing base value points.
It's like on ice, like texting you and streaming.
She's like, they could be moving up in the world, and so easily.
They could.
So I asked Jose Picard this, and the Mitch Moyer of Canada was there, Mike Slipchuk, and apparently he's like worthless. As worthless as Mitch Moyer, like he'll be at the cricket club texting on his phone the whole time, like while people are skating, not really advising. And maybe has gotten his ass chewed out for that. So anyway, he's sitting next to Jose Picard. I ask Jose, I said, oh, are they going to work on this harder lift? Because I was talking to Megan, and she's really complimentary of Jose, but Julian and Charlie, and she thinks that they could move up and do this point. So are they working on that lift? And it was just like an interesting, actual journalistic question.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Interesting suggestion of like they could move forward. Mike Slipchuk flipped F out. And was calling Bruno and being like, Megan cannot be saying these things, and why is she saying this? And it was like, here's someone who's actually giving like a tidbit to her theoretic competitor for improvement.
And we know that she is right. If she has figured out a way for something points-wise to happen, listen to Megan. Listen to her.
These people are so useless and then we saw Fatty with all the gold medals around his neck on Facebook after they won the team gold, as if he had anything to do with it other than kissing Patrick's ass enough to get him back in the ring. Like, he had nothing to do with that gold medal.
Right.
Jonathan, these people in skating are so worthless. And
you were the one that was like, it's all about trying to control the narrative, even down to you're not even allowed to make a suggestion.
Mm-hmm. How dare you have an actual reporter ask
How dare you seek to be better and learn more and do great things?
People are really special.
Yeah. Which, again, why my Reader's Choice Award goes to Yevgenia Medvedeva for knowing she can do better and for seeking that out.
Yes. Who is your moment of the week? Who's your skater of the week? Are you on the Medvedeva train? What will she skate to? I was like, does she need to skate to the Blue Danube? I mean, whatever she does, it needs to be regal, and then whatever she does, it cannot be in a Terry program. Because I was like, it needs to be.
I think she's in. She won't fight either. I think she's like.
I would even like a Piano Concerto #2 moment from her, because it could something just bold and a better costume and better hair.
I want more generous skating from her.
Yes.
Generous and holding out of positions. Tracy's on it.
Yeah. What do your David Wilson programs look like for Jason and for Evgenia? What do the costumes look like?
What music? What style is it? That's what I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Let us know. Hold an edge and look sexy. Bye, guys.